DHS, she earned 15 varsity letters in the sports of volleyball, cross country, basketball, track and field, softball, band, speech and drama, and she was also a member of the National Honor Society. She was an 11-time medalist at the state cross country and state track meets. In 2009, she was crowned the state champion in the 3,000-meter run. She was also named to all-conference, all-region, all-states teams 27 times. She took her basketball talents to the University of Northern Iowa, where she played for 3 years, and then transferred to Luther College for 2 more years. While at Luther, she was named the Iowa Conference MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, and also earned All-American honors. After graduating from Luther College, she spent 5 years as the assistant women's basketball coach at Simpson College. Currently, she just finished her first year as the head women's basketball coach at Central College. She is probably one of the best hype people you will ever meet. Please welcome Corinne Lonnie.
Wow! Thanks, Jackie. Jackie was my teammate in high school, so that was really fun. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm kind of nervous now. I was fine, but okay, process over perfection. I hear that's kind of the mantra lately. The mantra that we got, it was just the Decorah way, and we kind of got to interpret that however we want. So I like that you guys are explaining what you mean now. But process over perfection. I've been dissecting this idea myself, especially after being a first-year head coach, reflecting on a lot of failure and learning as a first-year head coach. But when I first hear process over perfection, I could get really excited about talking about kind of the tedious grind. I love grinding, like the day in, the day out, repetitions. I could get into that. I could also get into, it makes me excited thinking about how you need the goal of perfection to let you know where the process should go. Otherwise, if you just have the process and it's really, really easy and you start perfecting that process, well, you're going to be stagnant then. You have to have that goal of perfection. It's going to be too easy otherwise. But what I know I need to talk about, though, is the most essential part of the process, and that's the struggling. I was telling some people up here, I'm like, man, I hope I don't bring this down too many notches. I'm a really positive person, but I got to talk about it. I got to talk about the failing, the difficulties, the hard things. The greatest example of this is building muscle. Hypertrophy. So you think about it, according to the National Strength and Conditioning Association, the 3 primary factors that trigger hypertrophy: mechanical tension, mechanical damage, metabolic response. Metabolic. Sorry. So basically, first you have to overload the muscle. You have to stress it out. And you actually then have to damage it. You have to completely damage your muscle for it then to build. So that's just the basic way to build muscle. Why do we think as people we would be any different? We have to break down first. We have to struggle. So if you're a musician or an athlete or an actor, if you want to become better, a better student, a better friend, daughter, son, just a better person, we have to go through hard things in life to build stronger. We have to make mistakes to learn what is right. We must push ourselves out of our comfort zone to grow. We got to push ourselves to fail, find new limits, get up, and push past that again and fail again. I love this quote. Becky Hammon. Who knows Becky Hammon? No hands. That's terrible. She was the world champion head coach this year for the WNBA Las Vegas Aces. And in one of her interviews after she won, this is what she said: "My journey's not by mistake. Every hard thing I've gone through has built something in me that I've needed down the road." I think back to being here at Decorah High School. Gosh, we're lucky. We have so many mentors that push us. Teachers, coaches, directors, staff. They're pushing you guys. They get it. They understand process over perfection. Am I screaming? Do I need to step away from this? Or is that, are you okay? Your drums okay? Okay. So they're pushing you because sometimes we need others to push us when we don't want to push ourselves. We all shy away from the hard. We do. Because it sucks. We want to avoid pain because it sucks. We hate failing. It's embarrassing. Those are all normal feelings. But know how lucky you are that you have people in your life that are pushing you. And that's here. Not many schools are like Decorah. You're really, really lucky that you have teachers and mentors and that are pushing you. Embrace it. Let them. I was the most lucky though, because on top of these great mentors here at DHS, my dad would constantly tell me, it's good to struggle, Moran. It's so good to struggle. Losing is good. Failing is good. Being uncomfortable is good. I didn't really understand that in high school. I was like, it's not very fun, but okay. But I did everything my dad said. I literally did anything he said. Ask any of the coaches, especially track coaches. I mean, I would start the 3,000 at state a lap behind everybody because my dad would be like this to me. I would listen to anything he said. There was one time we were shooting in the SRC at Luther, and I always ended my workouts making 10 in a row free throws, and I was on number 9, and he takes the ball and he holds it and he goes, if you miss this free throw, you're running 2 miles in here. He gave it to me and I missed, and he walked out. He didn't say anything. I didn't have to run. He wouldn't have known, but I ran. I ran the 2 miles, probably kind of crying because I was mad at myself. He trained me to do anything that he said. So I listened to him. Because of my dad, I pushed myself to struggle. Is it fun while it's happening? No. Hell no, it's awful. But the more my dad would say, it's good to struggle, Moran. It's good to be uncomfortable. I started saying it to myself. I started saying it inside. I started saying it out loud. The most important voice isn't my dad's voice, it's my own voice. It's your voice. Our words are so powerful, you guys. Our minds are so powerful. The more you say something to yourself, the more you're going to believe it. So I know the struggle isn't fun. It's daunting. Being in the midst of difficult things is awful. But we can tell ourselves to push through, to keep going, to embrace the tough times. Hard things are going to happen. We can either shy away from them or we can invite them. And I'm telling you, when you get through them, you'll be stronger. That was supposed to be on the last, what I was talking about last. Okay, here we go. So I kind of was thinking about all the different hard things, and I broke it up into 3 categories. I feel like there's trial and error hard things. I think there's hard things that are in our control. I think there's hard things that aren't in our control. Trial and error. Here's my example. Cheddar wursts on meat days. I tried it. I threw up. It was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for everybody to watch. So from then on, no more cheddar wursts on meat days. Is that still a rule, track and field? Do you guys have that rule, or you guys know not to do that? I tried it. Okay. So we failed, we learned, now we do something instead, maybe a Subway sandwich or something like that. Another example of trial and error could be babies learning to walk. Think of how many times they fall down and they keep getting back up. Thousands of times they keep getting up, falling, failing, trying again. What if we just didn't try anymore? We'd all be just like, I don't know, that'd be weird. You have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. That's a great example of everything we do in life. Try again. Just keep trying again. You're gonna fail. Keep trying again. My sister Shanae, she's 10. Last year, I started having her go between her legs in basketball. I'm like, you can do it, just do it. She said, I can't do it. Yesterday, I counted for it. She said, count how many times I can do it. 25 times in a row. What if she would have just never done it? Guys, you can do things. You just have to keep trying and failing and trying again. That's trial and error. It's hard, but just keep trying. Get back up. Second hard thing. Hard things in our control. This is when we get to decide if we want to make ourselves better, if we want to make ourselves uncomfortable. So examples, this could be like for music people. You could choose an easy piece for solo ensemble contest, or you could choose a really hard piece, and it'll be frustrating at first, but you're going to get a lot better from practicing that hard piece and mastering it. My fiance, Alex, always says, a smooth sea never made for a skilled sailor. That's so true. That's everything. That's everything we do. We need to be challenged. We need to be uncomfortable. I remember when I finally invited the uncomfortable on my own. I remember sitting on the cross-country bus, talking to Kristen Nimrod, and I told her, this is the race I'm going to make myself feel uncomfortable the entire time. Didn't I? I said, south wind? Is that the meet? I was ready to just fully accept the pain and difficulty that comes from a cross-country race. Sorry. I invited the uncomfortable. I said, anytime I'm comfortable, I'm going to push harder. I'm going to make myself uncomfortable. I broke the meet record that day. But more importantly, I got stronger physically and mentally for the next hard thing, for the harder thing. My dad has a quote that wrestlers have hung up in their offices in wrestling rooms across the country. You can't see the one, but that's the same quote. I have an arrow on it, but I'll read it to you here. There are two roads in life, the easy road and the hard road. The easy road is the road to nowhere. The hard road is the road to happiness and contentment. Quietly and humbly take the hard road. It will be tough, but it will always feel good when we challenge ourselves. I'll just hold this. It's the choice we all need to be making. Take the hard road. Make yourself struggle. It'll make you stronger, better, feel more fulfilled. It'll prepare you for the next harder thing. How many of you know Kara Lawson, Duke women's basketball coach? A couple more. Gee, what do you teach in this school? God. All right, well, she had a viral video. Maybe you've seen it, but she tells her players, don't wait for things to get easy. Because it won't, it never will. It'll just get harder. What will happen is you'll get better at handling the hard. I think that's what it said. Yeah. Do hard better, right? So, lastly, the hard things that happen to you that are out of your control. This past year has been and continues to be the hardest time of my life. My dad, the man I listened to every single word out of his mouth, had an unexpected brain aneurysm and passed away on March 8th, 2022. Kind of hard to see. Those are some pictures of my dad. The most important person in my life died. Prior to this, if you were to ask me what the worst possible thing that could happen to me, I would have said my dad dying. Losing my dad. My family and I had no control over this hard thing. The man that taught us that struggle was good had now created the greatest struggle of all. It was as if he was preparing us for this moment. So with these types of hard things, we have a choice how we want to respond to them. It can either break us and we give up, or we can use it to make us stronger. We can use it to build something in us that we'll need down the road. The process doesn't slow down. Life doesn't get easier. I'm not telling you this to scare you. See, this is what I was like, oh God, they're going to think it's like terrible. Life's terrible. No, it's just hard, but we can do hard things. And we need to, because it makes us stronger. So instead of being scared of it, you know hard things are coming. Lean into it right now. When you got teachers and coaches and mentors pushing you to be uncomfortable, lean into it. Invite it. Because it's going to help you for what the next hard thing that you're going to face. These hard things could be a death of a loved one, getting laid off from work, getting diagnosed with anxiety or depression. All these things, you can't always control them, but you have to keep going. You must push through the adversity. You'll become stronger after going through it. And right now, if you can't push through for yourself, you got to do it for others. The wild yet beautiful thing about life is that we get to go through something and come out the other side and help someone else going through it. Hard things. You can't go around them, you got to go through them. I'm still going through it. And I don't know if this one's ever going to be done. And I think more hard things are just going to keep happening while this hardest thing in my life is continuing. I mean, I'm still crying some days on my way home from work. Just yesterday. It's hard. But it's not going to get easier. It's actually going to get harder. I mean, with my dad, losing my dad, I've stepped up and started helping raise my 10-year-old sister. So now I'm learning about parenting. And coinciding with the time of that, I got a first-year head coaching job. And that would have been something that I'd call my dad multiple times a day asking for help. Would it have been easier to just stay at the previous school where we were back-to-back conference champs and it was comfortable and it would have been a lot easier as the assistant coach? We don't want to do easy. We want to do hard. We got to be uncomfortable. I'm also getting married in 2 weeks. And that's life. It's just going to keep coming at you. It doesn't get easier. It doesn't slow down. And I don't think that it's a coincidence. I think I need this. I think I need to do this without my dad. I know he's with me, but I think I need to be able to start making decisions on my own and not calling him to ask him what I should eat before a cross-country meet or ask him what I should be doing with a certain player. I mean, he was a Hall of Fame coach. This would be perfect. His first head coaching job was at Central. This would have been perfect. But I can still believe that it is perfect. It's hard. I can believe, though, that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And I need this. I need to struggle. I need to be uncomfortable because I'm going to be stronger. So with these things that happen to you that you don't have any control over, you have control over how you respond and what you believe that's going to come from it. Believe that you're going to be stronger from it. I do. I know I'm going to be stronger. I feel so strong and confident, I can do anything. I know I can. Because I started saying that mantra. It's good to struggle. It's good to be uncomfortable. It wasn't enough that my dad said it. My dad said it to some of my siblings, and they don't like struggling. And you got to adopt it yourself. So, the thing I want you to start telling yourself is, let's see if I put it on the last. Oh, there's my fiance, and there's Shanae, my 10-year-old sister. The thing I want you to start telling yourself is, struggle is good. Being uncomfortable is good. When you're feeling nerves or stress or failure, say it in your head or even out loud. I'm still saying it, guys. I still get nervous, and I hear my dad and I say it to myself. It's good to be nervous. It's good to struggle. We're growing. It's the most essential part of the process. Keep building. Keep going. Thank you.